Hello, as Byron said, my name's Sam Thompson. I'm a deer stalker from a place called Strathgas, which is near Inverness in the Highlands. And it's quite a hard act to follow, really. I didn't really prepare anything when I came, and I'm quite glad I've come last because I can sort of pick a few bits. But it's such a thing to talk about for me, is the future of hunting, and I think we're at a really interesting stage generally as an industry. There's been a lot of talk today about people getting involved, people fighting back, people doing good stuff, and I think merely by the fact that you're all sat here tonight, we're probably preaching to the converted to an extent. That doesn't mean we've not got to do more, but I think the crucial thing going forward for all of us is that we take this message and these things to the wider audience, because, as you all know, there's a lot more people involved than just sat here tonight. I think we can look at it from two ways. From my point of view, I think we need to be better at marketing ourselves and what we do, and we need to be better at educating our own people about that as well. A large part of my job is guiding visiting hunters from England and abroad, and something that really astounds me is people that are passionate hunters who have experience, and sometimes lots of experience hunting in this country or abroad, can be incredibly ignorant about why they're doing it. Which is maybe a strong criticism to make, but certainly in my experience, something I'm seeing a lot of, and it worries me because, as we've been talking about, being able to justify, being able to defend what we do is crucial to it going forward. And yet people that are stalking for fun or shooting for fun or hunting as a passion, not as a profession or as an associated profession like we are tonight, those people are our biggest mouthpiece. They are going to know more people than I do that don't understand hunting, because all of my friends know what I do and get that line. We need, when we're going forward, to take this beyond the people that are in the industry, beyond the people that are active on social media. We need to get our new message, if you like, or however we want to put it, to the masses. And I think that means people taking accountability for protecting hunting, which has always, in this country, I think been something that we're quite keen to shirk. We're always very keen to pass that on to our organizations, our representative bodies, whatever we want to call them. And we sort of, when there's a problem, our answer is to turn to the likes of the BASC or the Countryside Alliance or whoever and point the finger at them. And I think going forward, what we need to be doing is pointing the finger towards ourselves and the people we immediately affect. That's different for everybody, but the crucial corner of what we do, as Byron pointed out about the grizzly bear hunting in British Columbia, is science. In that case, the science wasn't enough. But equally, if you get your marketing perfectly right without any science to back it up, nobody's going to believe you. And so we need to educate people, and we need to do it in a scientific way. We need to be justified in our actions. We need to know that when we go to shoot that deer, we're doing it to protect trees or upland plant assemblages, as I've just been contracted to do. These are terms and these are reasons that we need to embrace and understand. We need to realize that hunting is a tool in land management in this country and probably elsewhere in the world as well. And we have a resource of people willing to do that work in a lot of cases and pay for it. That's fairly unique. There's very few people offering to pay to go on holiday and put up a deer fence. We can subsidize what we're doing with recreational hunters who are willing to come and do that, and we need those people to be educated about why they're doing it. Otherwise, I don't know if we're going to be stood here in 25 years having the same conversation. And I really hope we are, because I'm not very good at anything else. So I'm buggered if we all get thrown down. Some of the films we've seen this evening have been absolutely fantastic, and I think we can all say that the quality of filmmaking that we've seen in the industry over the past 5 or 6 years has really improved. Social media has become a really big thing, and we're all using that, I would suggest, in a professional capacity, in a personal capacity, whatever. Very few now are the people you meet that don't have some access to Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. But I think a lot of that is thinking about the messages we put on. There's nothing wrong, I don't think, with sharing a picture of a dead animal. There's nothing wrong with sharing pictures of hunting. But in that description, in that tagline, we need to put across why. And I think that's easily forgotten. I recently saw a post on Instagram by a major optics manufacturer. And there was a picture of a bloke sat leaning on a tree with a rifle. Pretty much anybody could have taken the picture. It was like school day #1 of taking hunting photographs. And the caption to that photograph was, is it a 10-point buck? Is it a 12-point buck? Is it a buck at all? Now, I assume they're talking about white-tailed deer, otherwise my roe deer are not going to sell very well this year. But my point is that that was 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's great that we've got an audience of people sat in this room who realize that we need to embrace where we're going, but we need to bring everybody with us, and we need to try and up the standard across the industry. We need to realize that what message does that put across? That puts across that we care about how big it is because we want to put it on the wall. It certainly doesn't say we're managing a deer population well if we're identifying stuff with a rifle scope. And for the outside person, there's no mention of meat there. There's no mention of sustainable natural resource management. These are all cast by the wayside. And that person is going to make a snap judgment on that photograph. Not the anti-hunter, but the non-hunter is soon not going to be our friend. And as we go forward, I think we all need to consider that and discuss it more amongst ourselves as well, and try and realize that just because it's a competitive product doesn't mean that we can't help each other, because, as somebody pointed out earlier, nobody's going to sell any hunting kit when there's no hunting. How long have I got left?
You're doing well.
Am I? Does that mean lots of time, or does that mean I run out of time? Or
Carry on.
Keep going.
On
I'm running out of stuff. Let me just quick back to my notes. What else have we said? Film festival, last pages of books. You know, Byron said wildlife's got to come first, and that's the bottom line. The species that we hunt in whatever capacity, they're part of an ecosystem. My job really as a contract deer stalker is not really about hunting deer. I go into estates, I go into forests, and it's about balancing management objectives of that ecosystem. We can't focus solely on the species we hunt. We have to look at that entire situation and try and understand that as best we can. We've got to try and bring with us everybody in that, everybody in the field sports community. It doesn't matter what part of it they're involved in. If we can get across a broad message that we can apply in as many situations as possible and bring everybody's game forward, then we are going to succeed. I think something that we maybe need to look at embracing more that we haven't is what I would term proper science. I think I can probably count on one hand the number of scientific projects that the hunting industry in this country has been involved in. We haven't grasped that defending our sport can be more than just the simple line of shooting is good and these are the reasons. If you look at America and the Wild Sheep Foundation, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and all these other associations, they're pro-hunting, but their message isn't hunting. Their message is science about ecosystems, science about species, and we just haven't grasped that yet. There's some fantastic projects being run in this country by the Game Conservancy, the likes of the Rum Red Deer Research Project, but there's virtually no scientific research been done into roe deer, which is probably one of the most prevalent, well, is the most prevalent deer species in the country and one of the most hunted. We haven't decided that we can reach into our pockets to fund something that's that step further ahead. We haven't made that conscious decision that, right, okay, let's give those guys who are researching deer a load of spotting scopes. And you can carry that all the way through into the marketing. Rather than having that picture of a bloke with a rifle scope looking for a deer, why not have a picture of a guy on a research project doing his PhD with a spotting scope? And that can be our advert. Because it doesn't take a lot from the guy with the spotting scope on the research project learning more about that species to the guy who buys kit because he likes stalking at the weekend buying that spotting scope because he wants to learn more too. If we start thinking outside of the box and we start thinking in a long game, I think hopefully we maybe can have that conversation again in 25 years. And I'm really struggling because nobody lets me speak for this long, so I think I'll call it there before I say something rude. But thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the film.